Morning, Gary.
Morning, Mark. How are you?
I'm very good, very good. So obviously this is the morning after the night before from the Masters.
And what a Masters it was, mate.
It was excellent. And I don't want to bask in the glory of predicting who was going to win, but I am going to bask in the glory.
I'll give you that right, but thanks. I did say that was easy bet, but I'll tell you what.
It's not an easy bet.
How good was he?
It was fantastic.
Oh my God, man.
Yeah. I mean, especially, see, the bit that got me was round the turn, and that's where he made his score. You know, Amen Corner, where lots of guys were 11 especially. What was that like on Aberg and Morikawa? And
I heard this. It wasn't his caddy actually. It was Max Homer's caddy saying he had no idea where to aim because of the wind, and his caddy said, "Aim for the 12th flag, away in the distance." And then when the camera panned back, you seen the flag hit, and you're thinking, "That is 30 yards right."
I know.
But then obviously when you see an Oberg shot, who I did bet and who came second, and a massive £2.90.
£2.90.
Didn't even pay for coffee this morning.
That's good. And obviously I bet Fleetwood, and it was obviously good at Tom Edder, good last round and came through.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
But Scheffler, mate, I've got to hand it to him.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
And I liked, for the first time ever, you saw some emotion at the end when he won and he sort of put his hands up.
How long did it take him to celebrate?
I know, but it was I think there's a guy's got a lot going on. I know there was a lot of people have criticised him this morning for the interview he gave and talking about obviously how they're sort of saying, he doesn't like golf and he's obviously he finds it a really boring sort of thing to do. I think the guy's got a lot of things on his plate. And the fact that his missus is ready to give birth.
His first baby.
So, and it's his first child, exactly. So he's thinking, I want to win this, absolutely, 100%, but I've also got family life away from golf, and that's what people forget. Sometimes these guys are just ordinary people.
See, I think the opposite side of that. I think that's what makes them more appealing, because when you look at, as much as I said before, amazing. Tiger was like in my mind he's been the best ever, obviously, because it's what I remember. I remember Nicklaus winning in 86, was it? But I don't remember much after that, and Tiger was the guy all the time. What I like about Scheffler is that it does seem as if, see when I'm at the golf, and I was a great believer that you can chat. I can talk, obviously, but I was a great believer in just chat. But see, when you had that 30 seconds and it was your golf shot, absolutely 100%. Just shut up, concentrate, think of your position, hit the shot. And I'm not saying Scheffler's like me, but what I'm saying is
you're like Scheffler.
I think I'm older than Scheffler.
Yeah, I love drawing a comparison between the guys number one in the world, Gary, and who's in his 50s.
No, well, the podcast is called AmEveryGolfer.
Yeah, so I'm not sure Scotty Scheffler's every golfer.
No, but what I'm saying is I'm quite happy that he has got that thought process that when he's out playing golf, I know it's his job and it's not our job, it's our time to break away from family, friends and work, but I like the fact that when he's out there doing that, I'm playing golf, but see when I finish, see you later.
Yeah.
I'll take my 3.5 million and I'm going home.
Yeah.
And my wife's about to pop my first baby out, and it would have been interesting to see if it got to 15 or 16 and the caddy says, here by the way, I know your shoulder's a bit sore, but she's pushing. Would he have left? Because he said, absolutely, I'm leaving.
So what would they have done? Imagine he was on, you say 15, 14 even, like 14, 15, he still had a few holes to go, and he, as you say, gets a phone call, or Ridley comes up and goes like, Mr. Scheffler, just a word near your wife.
Just to let you know,
yeah, just thought I'd
Scotty Junior is on his way.
Yeah, so what would you have done? What would you have done?
Well, I would have phoned Shells first and said, listen,
what am I doing?
I've made 100 grand here for turning up, but it's 3.5 million in half an hour's time. Can you just hold on a wee bit?
Can you see that thumbprint on the top of my head? Can you
Mate, £3.5 million.
Yeah.
There's no way she's turning that down for the sake of... And is he going to turn it down for that? Because I would love to... I'd like to have seen that. I would have liked... I would have liked to see that. No, no, that's not good. I would like to the mines, but I would like to have seen what his decision would have been if it had been on the third night and the fourth round. Would have left.
I'm sure that there was probably a conversation took place beforehand, and she's probably said to him, look, if you're winning and you're leading, there's a chance it's a Masters. Just... I don't know.
But she said it's only a jacket. You don't even get a trophy.
It's okay.
You only get a wee house thing. That's it.
I get a picture of a house. We've got a house already. We don't need another. That's what I'm thinking. What would you have done? I mean, it's the Masters. It's the Masters. It's not like it's like
you're staying. She's talking.
It's not like it's like the TPC or something really ordinary like that. You know, it's. I think he'd have.
I don't think he'd have stayed.
But he's a deeply religious man as well, so you don't know.
I never knew.
Amazingly religious. That's a big thing in his life. Religion.
There's 3 or 4 of them like that, isn't there?
Yeah.
Was it Webb?
I think Homer's quite like that as well. Because him and Homer are actually really good friends. It was nice at the end where you see Homer going up to him.
Do you see who was the young guy? Was that Tom Kim that waited on him as well?
Yes, it was. That
was amazing.
It was lovely, and I think people, and I think obviously was Nick Faldo was talking about that, obviously how the camaraderie now is much different to where it was years ago.
I think that'll have an effect on the Ryder Cup.
I think so.
Which is a shame for us Europeans, obviously, because the Americans have always been a bit of disparity, haven't they, when it comes to the team game.
Well, they have, and I don't think people like Brooks helped last time because there was always this thing about Brooks coming in.
Kepka will never help.
He's a bit like Bryson DeChambeau.
That's why he was. He's a shocking Masters.
It was, but DeChambeau was good with these new clubs. Yeah, and I'm not even sure.
Is that true?
What's true?
That they were made by.
What are you going to say?
They said they were 3D printed.
3D printed. And then one of the commentators said on the fourth day, I take it the 3D printer broke last night because his hands have been shocking.
And I think they only get passed on the Monday
Or Tuesday or something, yeah, to be
so the PGA only passed on to be legal.
Yeah.
And he used a Kronk driver he used, the first one that's ever been used in the Masters.
I think so, yeah.
He wants to change that as well, didn't he? He can launch it, but although he did launch it really long and he hit a 390, which is bizarre, obviously. That's a taxi for me. But apparently he hit it longer with his Cobra.
Did he?
That's what he said. But he had more control with the I think it's called Kronk. I might be corrected on that. I'm sure it's called.
I'm sure there was somebody who will probably type in like, Gary, you're talking nonsense again.
But it's a regular occurrence.
That's what we do quite regularly.
That's why I'm here.
I know, just to talk nonsense.
So would you think Sheffield's going to dominate?
This year, no, because I think go back to I think it's horses for courses this year, very much.
You're still going with Rory for Valhalla? He did have a wee twinkle in his eye when the commentator asked him
about Valhalla, yeah.
And I did think I'll be late at night, Mark.
Did you? Gary, I really don't want to go down that road again. I've already got an exclusion order against it. It's terrible. I had to go to the courts.
One of many. One of many.
So, but no, I do think it's this year especially it's horses for courses because Pinehurst is a specialist.
So take it to majors then. And we'll go back to Pinehurst because I think it's an amazing golf course. That's the Open, isn't it? Or is that the PGA?
Pinehurst the Open? Yeah. Cause
where's the PGA?
Valhalla.
And an Open, obviously.
It's true. And we both went for Holland.
Aye.
And I think it's his course, if he can get his swing sorted between now and then.
You could see a couple of idiosyncrasies in his golf swing then, but the commentator spoke really well about the changes he's made, and I think he'll definitely come good again, but I think where his confidence will take a hit is because his short game was horrendous, but then it came on a ton last season, obviously, and you don't win 20 million in the FedEx with having a rubbish short game. I think that'll be different, but do you think Scheffler, other than the majors, will dominate PGA Tour? And the world ranking?
I think it depends where, obviously with the birth of his child, how that actually affects things. He might take some time
2 weeks
off
paternity leave.
Yeah, he might take 2 weeks off.
Do you think he asks, am I getting paid for that?
I know, unpaid. But that's something, I think that may have an effect on him. It might have a positive effect, but it might have the thing, I want to take some time with my family, I want to get to know my child. You don't know. Do I think he'll dominate golf this year? Yeah, I think so. I think when he tees it up this year, he's the man to beat.
I think every single time everybody will be looking at the leaderboard or at any board at the start of the tournament, they'll just say if you finish above Scottish,
everybody will be cursing Rory for telling him about the putter.
His putting was exceptional. Especially when you look at how bad his putting was.
Every time he held a putt, I'm thinking, Rory, what have you done?
Especially me, because I had a decent amount of money on Rory because you have to, because of the odds are garbage, and Rory
£2.
No. It was £6. I'm only allowed the £10 bet. Everybody else is
Shills doesn't hear that you've put £6 on.
Shills, to be fair, likes a wee bet in the Masters, and she was cussing
because of Rory.
No, because everybody. Rory hold a great par putt in the 18 to finish, and all I heard for the background when she was designing away was Rory, and I was like, oh aye, she was furious.
But let's go back. Obviously, Scottish Scheffler, phenomenal, but there was some notable performances, and I think Ludwig,
I thought it was an amazing Masters.
Ludwig, he take a couple of bad shots, and he was if he
doesn't lose a shot on 11,
no, two shots
on 11, then he is
close.
Oh my!
And
do you know bogey 11?
No, double bogey.
What's that? I thought it was a one shot penalty. And then all right, okay.
So because he didn't chip putt, he chipped 2 putties, so that was 6. So, but that's what I'm saying. Within like that one bad shot. Would you put enough pressure on Scheffler? What would have happened if he'd been at 9 under after say 13, 14 holes? What would have happened? Do
you think Scheffler would just stood in the pedal again though? Because even as soon as he hit his double bogey and he come back with par birdie, you're like, I mean, come on.
But it's hard.
I don't know, but that'd be soul destroying behind them.
But Gary, a course like Augusta, that's not an easy thing to do.
No.
You need to take your chances when you get them, and you need to take pars when you can, and sometimes you need to take a bogey because that's the best score you're going to get.
And that was how you and I spoke about this earlier as well. I thought Nick Faldo's commentary was amazing about how where the green sat, and a good point was it was Oberg actually on 15. He was behind it, and before he seen the camera angle, they were talking about how, because Butch Harmon had said or you'll hold that. And Mick Faldo just interjected and said, I don't think so. And then the camera angle kind of was up the top of the green where he was standing ready to hit his putt, and you seen the he called it an upside down saucer. And as soon as I hit the putt, the ball went straight. Fair enough, only missed by a ball, but it went straight right.
But that was, do you know what? I've never seen that angle before, and you actually seen the green. It was that's crazy.
And you're I'm thinking as well, when you seen, I think it was Max Homa, he hit his wedge in, and it hit the fringe and then spun back. So, I mean, how you spin would have stopped, but I think that's the undulations that took it back.
Yeah.
But I thought it was an amazing Masters.
And 14 as well, especially because you've got to aim at sort of like 5-6 yards left of the pin, and obviously everything gathers in towards that as well. But you put it 3 yards right of the pin, you're 20-25 yards away. So a massive difference.
It must. I think that's where us amateurs struggle a wee bit, because I look at the pin, I don't look at what danger's right or left. I look at the pin and I think...
Is that your 81 from last week on the Masters guy?
That 81 was the first 9. Because when I play golf, I look at the pin and I think I get 10 to 15 feet for that pin and I'm alright. I'm 2-putting, or I'm a decent putter and I've got a chance of a birdie. But they're thinking I'm picking a target 8 feet right, and it's going to go away another 10 to 15 feet for that pin before I can have a putt at it. And I'm thinking, I've never said to myself, I'm happy with a 40-foot putt there. I've never said that in my life. If you look at 12, how many people hold their birdie putts for left of the bunker, and the putt was about 60 feet. And I'm thinking, I would not be happy with that putt. I would be struggling. I'd be thinking, that's just 3-putt territory for me.
But the thing is, that's the place to play it on the last day.
Couldn't agree more.
Head over the bunker, play safe. You see the amount of guys, Max Homa.
Morikawa went for it, didn't he? He was in between. He was maybe 15 feet.
Yeah, but the fact is, like Max Homa, what happened there with that shot? Okay, they're saying the wind caught it a bit, and obviously he's flown the green. Really?
I mean, they get some good rules, don't they?
They get some.
And then Morikawa's knocked back in 18th.
God, yeah, that's
right.
3
wood.
I know.
He was so unlucky. That would have been some shot.
That would have been a phenomenal shot. Right. I was really happy actually, up and down at the bunker.
I felt a wee bit sorry for him in 18.
Yeah.
Because I think his, and again I'm not coming in comparison to myself, but I think when you play with a fade and you're under that amount of pressure, I think the easiest thing for every amateur golfer today is that you hold on a wee bit too tight and you absolutely come back on the inside, so your wee normal fade just becomes that wasn't a push, because you've seen a big banana, that was a big slice, and you're thinking, ooh. But
it wasn't the first he'd done it.
He'd done it a few times.
And I think his game was starting to go off towards the end. And again, it's probably the pressure of the position, because he's not been there for a wee while.
No, that's exactly what I was going to say there. When you said the position, I was going to say I thought it was more about the position and where his golf game has been in the past.
That's what I mean. The position.
And 3 different putters over 4 days.
I know.
And when you look at his grip, we spoke about this earlier as well, he was using a conventional style putting grip and then going straight back to the claw as soon as he was on the green. That can be good for you. I suppose it's a bit like Matt Fitzpatrick playing conventional grip, but then he plays his chips.
I know, that's real, I know, candid.
And I think tremendous looking, his chips. He was a wee bit of disappointment for somebody who could putt as good.
I thought he would have done a lot better.
He was raging, wasn't he?
And
he actually used profanity a couple of times. I won't say he did. He used the F word a couple of times.
And I'm sure Tyrrell used the F word a few times as well.
Tyrrell is with live, but he is tremendous viewing, as you know.
Oh, he is.
Would you know Mike Kim every time you
would total box office, because you don't know what's going to come out. No. You would need to come and say, I'm really sorry about that last comment.
I'm surprised the Augusta guys didn't come out and give him a round, because they told Jason Day to take his tank top off, didn't they?
Did they?
Aye. I can't remember the name of it, but it showed you on. I can't remember the name. He had his tank top on that.
The mental colour thing.
Aye, they came up and said to him, "Can you get that off?" And then they also said it was, I think it was Scotty Scheffler's caddy. No, it wasn't Scotty Scheffler's caddy. It was Max Homer's caddy. He walked up to the green where Max Homer stood at his golf bag, and he went down to the green and he started to run. And you're not allowed to run at Augusta. You're not allowed to run. So see, like, we were at the Ryder Cup at Glen Eagles with my mates, and when you opened, we were kind of one of the first couples there. So when you opened the gates, I mean, we sprinted to the first tee and we got level with the players, and it was the best view ever. So when you open the gates at Augusta, you're not allowed to run. So you see them all walking like Olympic walking athletes. They're all shuffling away, and they've even got how you pronate. So you can't put your toe down. You've got to put your heel down and walk normally. And if you're running, they either stop you and bin you, or they'll just bin you.
You're back to the.
You're not allowed to run at all at Augusta. That's incredible, isn't it?
That is incredible. And for somebody who's actually now, what is that, four times he's actually carried for the winner?
I know two with
Bubba.
And one was 2012, 2014, and then he's won it 22, 24. Knowledge is the bomb. How good is that? That's a bit. How much money's he made?
How much money's he made?
I don't know.
A few bob.
That's not bad, isn't it? 4 on the bag for 4 majors.
Yeah. Because what is it normally, about 10%?
Well, 3.5 million, isn't it?
Yeah.
350 grand.
And you said he'd made more than Rory had this year.
Scotty Scheffler's caddy has made more money caddying than Rory's made prize money.
Yeah.
That is incredible.
Plus he's just got, roughly 350. So that's not too bad.
Plus a wee bonus, probably.
Plus maybe get his wages, £100 a week.
And he stole the flag.
He did steal the
That was a bit disrespectful. When you see Matsuyama's caddy bowing to the whole of Augusta, Scheffler's caddy steals the flag.
As if he's General Custer.
And I like Nick Faldo's nickname for him, Shuffling Scotty Scheffler.
Shuffling Scotty Scheffler.
And every single time he does a golf swing.
That's because he had the wrong teeth in, probably.
Have you seen his left? I was after beer. Have you seen Scotty Scheffler's left ankle? I showed you a couple of times last night. Butch Harmon said every single time, to be fair, I would have a broken ankle if I tried that. His left ankle, his foot moves to the side and it's right across. I mean, that can't...
But what gets me is, because you think...
Is that going to affect his ankle the same as Tiger's back affected him because of
the
the
power? But you don't know, possibly. Yeah. But then also the thing is as well, but it's the way he transfers his weight. Because I thought the move from the right foot was after impact. It's before.
Well, there's a wee bit... I would disagree a wee touch. I think he's the classic, you can be as ugly as you like in your swing, but at the point of impact it has to be like a beauty. And it showed you in slow motion. He is a bit up, I'll give you that. But his left foot is fine at point of impact, but it's like, I don't know how many points of a second after it, his whole body changes. But he hit a couple of shots that I still swear, like, oh, that's gone. But then you see the shot tracer and you're like, it's absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
But
we're saying that his hands at impact must be just...
He must be so feely with his hands. It must be amazing.
Yeah. But over time, how's that going to change? You know, he's a young man just now. He's in his 20s, isn't he? And
is he 27? Looks
27.
No disrespect, Scotty, but you look about 40.
Yeah, you've had a hard paper round. But is that going to affect him as he gets older? Is that part of his?
That's what I think.
Is that what Tiger lost? Did Tiger lose that feel? When he changed his swing to try and make it more repeatable. You look at early Tiger, and it is all about feel. And it's about feeling the golf ball off the club face and hitting the ball and hitting the shots. You look at, I'm not saying Tiger now, because Tiger now is a shadow of the man he was, but look at Tiger when he was probably towards the end of that golden period. His swing was different. He had bulked up. He was massive across the shoulders.
Well, they did say though he bulked up his kind of they're called lats, your back muscles, aren't they? He said they bulked up his lats because his spine, when he was a bit thinner when he first came on the scene, it took so much damage with him swinging so fast. Because when he started launching drivers, everybody was like, I mean, what in the name is that? He was like 40 yards, 50 yards beyond everybody else. So they reckon he bulked up so much up top and forgot leg day, just so that he could protect his back.
What's your thoughts on Tiger? Like, what's he getting out of doing that? I think he just looked in pain the full time.
He did, didn't he?
I don't get what's he got to prove.
See, for the nothing at all, and that's a great point, to be fair. See, the second round when it was properly windy, he looked in torture. And I don't know. I think obviously he had in his mind that everybody was at 23 consecutive cuts, and that's him at 24.
So
that's him set the record. Yeah. So you maybe see something different then. But my thoughts is play. I know he's got to play less, but he always had this mindset that what he was going to do was he was just going to play 2 tournaments and lead up to a major, and then play the major really well. So
because they say when he practices, he uses a what do you call it, a buggy.
Oh, he does. John Daly said the same thing.
So
go and play in the seniors and get a bug every time.
But that's not going to help you.
No, his left leg. Yeah. And when you see him try to pick the ball, that's his left leg. No, he's right. That's his left. When you see him picking the ball out, that looks so precise, as if he's like a...
Yeah.
And he was quite open though when he said an ice bath, you're going to see the masseuse. He says, no, I ache every day. That's just the way it's going to be. But I don't know what his thought will be long term. I don't know. I don't think he needs to go and play the seniors. Does he need to go?
Yeah.
I don't think he'll be. I think he'll be an amazing commentator for the Masters, because I don't think there's a blade of grass that he doesn't know at the Masters. And then for any tournament, to be fair, but all the majors, how the person who's leading feels, what they need to do to get that, what their thoughts will be, that'd be quite good. But it's a shame and amazing to see him play at the same time. I think Tiger's worst day, we could go on the PGA Tour and make ourselves a fortune on his worst days, which is incredible.
I think he still believes he's got one in him. And I think one of the commentators and he was saying that he doesn't believe it's a Masters or a USPGA.
I think it's an Open.
I think it's an Open as well, where there isn't such a massive sort of demand on length.
Unless your weather gets him.
Yeah, but if you go, imagine we had a really good summer. Imagine a really good summer.
Imagine that.
Yeah, that would be good. In Scotland, okay, and Royal Troon becomes quite fiery, and you're hitting 4 irons off the tee like he did, he's done before, and you just plot it round. That's the kind of thing.
Danger, eh?
Yeah, he could be a danger because he can keep it on. He can keep it on the fairway. He can think shots, and he can putt. He can. It maybe wasn't great, but I think you're right. I think a lot with Tiger is that mentality that I need to go, I need to do this, I need to prove. I still feel as though this is going to sound like a daft thing for a guy who's won more money than anybody else and won.
Have you?
No, I'm not only the weekend, but
£2.90.
It was more than £2.90. Thank you very much. But I think he still feels he has to prove something.
Aye.
But I don't know who.
I don't think that's a bad thing, though.
But I don't know who he's got to prove. I think he feels he's got this thing. I need to prove that I'm still Tiger Woods. I'm still.
Did you see your son Charlie telling him how to swing the golf club?
Yeah.
You're in this position, but you should be in this position. Yeah. And you're like, what?
It's a bad day when your boy tells you how to play golf.
It's interesting to see if he goes the same way with injuries, because he's obviously been playing.
Well, I think Tiger tried to protect him when he said that when he first started playing in the junior stuff, he said, I want to swing like my dad. And then when they interviewed Tiger and said, that must be a great feeling that your boy wants to swing, and he says, no, I've told him he has to swing like Rory. And you're like, oh.
But that tells you we get in Rory's.
When you see the finish, Charlie's finish and Rory's finish are the same.
Very similar.
Rory, what happened?
But the takeaway from Charlie is very it's a mixture between Tiger and Rory. It's very wide.
It's extended and wide, and he's slightly outside the line.
What happened to Rory?
Oh man!
You tell Gary. It's a Rory love in with you, Gary. So you tell us what happened to Rory,
I mean, I spent the night pondering.
I'm sure you did.
I mean, and every night to be fair, pondering what happened.
Just thinking Rory.
I was like, oh Rory, please. But I don't think he putted well. I think the swing changes are probably too close to the Masters. And we did chat that there was a post on Instagram that Augusta to take out a light for him because he was the last person on the range. Yes, I did comment on that Instagram post. And he was out there swinging, and he asked him what he felt, and he just says, well, I just think there's too much of a disconnect. And you're like, is that because what Butch did, or did what Butch do to his golf swing is going to be beneficial long term, and was it too close to the Masters to implement those changes, or is he just never going to win a Masters? Because he seems to have half decent days where other people's half decent days were 3 under, but his half decent day was 3 over, and you're like.
But I think you said it obviously last week, talking about obviously that 3-ball with Schauffele and Scheffler and
I think that
lots of shifts.
The shuffling Scotty Scheffler. I think that was to Rory's detriment.
I think so, and I stand by it. I absolutely 100% agree with you. I think he ended up playing those two as opposed to playing the course.
You could see when Scotty Scheffler hit 2 shots that were about 8 feet. And Rory had outdrove him, and he had said he didn't see anything. You could see in his body language he was kind of looking at it, and then looking at straight away, looking at his golf club, looking at the balls, after like, come on, try to pep yourself up. And then when you've seen that wee bit of pressure for any normal golfer, a bit of pressure for me is I'll hit a big banana, or I'll knock it out of bounds right and no left. That's for sure. You could see that pressure coming in when the short tracer started to follow the ball. There was that extra wee bit of draw, which is Rory's natural shot. Obviously, and you're thinking, that is because they two are there. Yeah. That is because they two. And Xander Schauffele he's just so cool, isn't he? He just plods along. He looks like an old man sometimes, the way he's over that putter. I don't think his putting's great, but I don't think his putt looks natural. No. He's kind of
it does look quite contrived. He does get the ball in the hole quite.
Great putter, mate. But I just think, I'm quite happy that I said that out loud, because the 2 days you could just see. Yeah. At start, he was like, on the first tee, he looked so up for it, but then you're looking at him and going, you look at it because you put yourself under so much pressure.
His first drive, and you thought, right, Rory,
it's magnificent to watch. And you're like,
and his second shot, and he's hit it, and you think, wait, this could be something, and then it just goes
peak on.
Yeah, so
I hate to have it in my thought process that he's never going to win a Masters. I hate to have it in my head, but
I don't think it is. And I think probably the worst thing was Tiger saying, "You're too good not to win a Masters."
He's too talented. Never. Of course, it will happen sooner or later. But
now, obviously, Tiger's put pressure on him.
So you mean it looks as if he has to wait for the perfect storm, doesn't it? Be paired with people that have not really got a chance, so he can be the top dog in that.
Or get 3-ball. Got paired with 2 mates.
I got paired with 2 of his mates. I got paired with 2 Europeans.
Yeah, or Lowry or something like that.
He's out with Lowry in that. is it 2 weeks' time? He's out with Lowry, isn't he?
That's one of his best pals, you know. So
he's only played about 3 more tournaments before the PGA.
I think so, yeah. But the PGA is quite soon anyway, you know. And that's the big thing. That's a change as well. It used to be quite disjointed, and next one was the US Open. That was a couple of months away. But now you've got Masters, PGA, Open, that Open. And
there's another thing as well that I remembered. You know, I think the live guys, other than the superstars, obviously struggle so much because, like we said last week, they're playing on golf courses that you and I can pay to go and play. We can go and play, and
they're playing resort courses, as you said,
and their putting was so much easier. And when they slowed the greens down, the Shambo putted like a god, but they slowed the greens down to protect the golf course because of the weather. And as soon as the golf course went back to normal, the live guys started to fall off the edge of a cliff, and you're like, well, Hatton played really well and putted really well, so I can't take that away from him. But
and Cam Smith had quite a good last round as well.
I just thought you could really see John Ram. I mean, what happened to John Ram? John Ram's made for them, apart from his fade, obviously, but he's made for Augusta. He showed that how well he played the last time, and he went in overwhelming favourite, didn't he, to retain it? But Scheffler was a favourite.
Yeah,
John Ram.
I think Ram's problem was that he just hadn't played enough golf this year, and I think
54 holes.
I know 54 holes, and it's not enough.
No,
you look at the people like Scheffler who, even with a restricted sort of number of tournaments he's played, he's still played a lot more golf, a lot more competitive golf. And the difference is, these guys are playing, as you say, resort courses. They're not playing against a top level of competition week in, week out. So you could have an average week and still finish quite high up the leaderboard.
How does their teams work and live? So they've got one superstar who then phones his mate or somebody else that he knows will take the dough and be a half decent player. And then the other two, some of the other two on the live, I look at them and I think, how often have you played?
Yeah.
How much PGA Tour have you played?
Who are you?
Aye. Was it Corn Ferry, then got your PGA Tour card, and then somebody's phone.
But the Corn Ferry Tour, you can make a really good living on as well.
Absolutely can. But I'm just thinking, you don't really get a team of 4 that are extraordinary.
No. Because then would that be a total disadvantage to everybody else if you had Brooks, DeChambeau, John Ram, and say Tyrrell Hatton.
Is there a rule there? Because John Ram went with 440 or 450 million signed to Tyrrell.
Is there a pot for each team?
And who's the other two?
Well, Tyrrell Hatton's one.
I need to look at that.
Do you think because there's no cut and all?
I think that's got a massive effect, because I think, see, when I'm playing with Roddy, as a normal golfer, when you're playing with your mates and you're lovely and relaxed, or so, just using me, when I go and play with you, all you're doing is talking. You're talking nonsense about what you done the night before and you're really hard on yourself for hitting a bad shot. But when I play with my mates, I'm dead relaxed and I generally shoot a decent score. But then you stand and you get white tee-itis, don't you? You're at your Saturday medal and you're all over the place. You couldn't hit a barn door for 3 feet. But when you're playing with guys who you've invited on, there's no cut, no pressure. You don't need to win the tournament, because if somebody else in your 4-ball and your team does really well, then you start to go up the pecking order and you make more money. So I think that's another good point. You need to go on the podcast. I think that's another good thing, is that no, it's not a good thing. It's not a good point. But for Liv, I think that's another distraction for Liv, and I think almost sycophantically it's got to the point where Liv need the PGA Tour more than the PGA Tour need Liv now, because Liv's credibility took a huge hit because of the volumes of money that were involved in it, but then it gained a few points because it was in the news all the time and people were talking about it all the time, and that's all Greg Norman and the guy, I can't remember the guy's name that owns Liv, the guy who owns Newcastle, isn't it? That they then had a bit more points. But now when you see how they performed really well in the previous tournaments and they done really well, but now none of the guys are coming to the fore in the majors and winning it. They're having their days because they're PGA pros and they're absolute aliens, they're superstars, but they're not having amazing 4 days. And every single person, and the one I like best was when Wyndham Clark says there's 54 holes to go, maybe they'll do alright, and then Bruce Kepka chopped in and says, I mean, what a stupid name. Didn't even comment on the fact about the 54 holes. He just slagged them for his name. When they say, no, it's a stupid name anyway.
Yeah, he only won a US Open last year or something, didn't he?
It's PGA one,
was it? PGA? Was it the
Open?
I thought it was US Open. No.
Need to look at that.
We will do. That's knowledge we should have, just like that, Gary. That's terrible.
Well, that's why it's called AmEveryGolfer and no I know everything golfer.
I know everything. I know bugger all golfer.
I promise we'll work better in our homework.
I know, we will do for next week. That's next week's homework. The Wyndham Clark, I think, won the US Open.
We've got a secretary in the corner there.
I'm sure Wyndham, because Fleetwood was there or thereabouts as well. And
I'm going to do it.
Yeah, are you going to Google
I need
it?
to know.
Are you going
I need my specs.
to Dr. Google? So here's another one. Wyndham Clark. Everyone thought he would do really well, and
It was him that won the Open.
I hate when you're right. Thanks.
it's okay.
Wyndham Clark.
Yeah, because Fleetwood came.
He's a bit ballsy, isn't he? He said he was a better player than Rory, and I'll beat him and all that. And then he did. He did beat Rory in the Masters. No, it wasn't the Masters. It was a different tournament. I beat him in there as well. But no, it was a normal tournament. I don't even know if it was a Ryder Cup. He was very ballsy. Anyway.
Yeah. But I think you're at that level, you have to be sort of really ballsy. You have to believe in your own ability. What's the point of playing? You know, when Scottish Shepherd tees up on the first tee, they doesn't tee up and go, do you know what? If I play all right, I'll be okay.
Scottish Shepherd probably does think if I play all right, I'll still win.
Yeah, if I play all right, I'll still win this by 5 or 6.
What's this first 4 million?
Yeah. Okay, then I'll just why not? I'll turn up this week. But these guys, and as much as Rory's having a torrid time just now, and he's not playing well. Let's be honest, he's not playing well.
No,
but Rory has to tee up in the first tee and go, I can win this.
I think that's not even a thought in his mind. And let me finish there before I sound stupid.
Before you say something really
No. I don't think it's a thought in his mind, because I think he just knows that if he turns up and he's 90% and Scottish Shepherd's not there, he's actually got he's got probably 90% of a chance of winning that tournament. You're like, that must be a great feeling, but it also must be unbelievably frustrating for him when he knows he's that good and he's just not doing it.
But they say that about golf. Golf, the better you are, golf becomes more frustrating.
I couldn't agree more with that.
And people think, it must be really great to play. No, it's actually horrendous, because one, you've got less shots to play with everybody else. You can afford fewer mistakes, and you're hard on yourself. So if you just miss a green, you're thinking, oh God, am I going to chip and butt here? It demands, the better you are, the more pressure you put on yourself. And
I think that's an amazing point, because I think that transfers to every single level of golfer, because you look when you and I play Roddy.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But it does transfer to everybody. So what you're talking about white tee syndrome. You get with your mates, you hit the ball, you're hitting it. Oh yeah, how'd you play today, darling? Oh, I was sublime. Maybe not sublime is maybe not the right word, but I was better than average.
I was all right.
I was pretty good. You know, I actually won some money today. I wasn't giving Roddy. I wasn't donating money to Roddy today for a change.
Roddy's beer money I supply every single Saturday afternoon.
But you're right, and then you go in that white tee syndrome, and it may only be 5-10 yards, even 20 yards behind.
Massive.
In your head,
massive
you're thinking, I'm going to say shit there, but
because you're thinking, I'm bringing that bunker into play, whereas if half a yellow tees,
it's not a consideration.
I was having a chat with Shills, and I was going through my Instagram just deleting photos for the sake of it, and I found a scorecard, and it was the Winter League at Marhall, and the tees are some of the women's tees, and it's right forward on the very front of the tee box to protect the rest of the tee box for the year. And it was a half decent day, freezing cold, but half decent day, and I shot 64, and I'm like, it's all right. And then I was like, right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a picture of that scorecard. I'm going to.
But Gary, was that 64 scratch?
Yes.
So that's 64 with your handicap off. Is that 2 plus 2?
And then I was like, I'm going to keep that for the start of the season when it's a right nice day, and try and remember that when I'm out playing, because at Marhall you can play off the white tees every day of the week, so it gives you that, probably gives you a wee bit of advantage when going to play the medal, but every member's got the same advantage. But then me and Roddy took, and he'll remain nameless, took one of our mates.
Roddy?
Roddy brought one of his mates down to Marhall, and we said, we'll play off the whites today. And you can see the colour start to drain from his face, because in the first, the white tees are like here, and it's like 40 yards to the yellow tee, and it's a par 5, the first par 5 left. And off the yellow tees at the very front, you can virtually see it in the corner, so you can smash it in the corner. But for the very back tees, you're aiming for a bunker. And the trees are left, and there's trees right. So if you hit a real cracker, you'll end up in the bunker, unless you hit a draw, which, again, if I won the Euro Millions, I'd need to tap you a $5 for a draw, because I just can't hit them. But you're aiming for that bunker, and he stood in that, and he's obsessed with distance, and he's looking at that bunker going, no bother, 3, so 7 off the tee, bump, 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 you're waving goodbye to £4.20 as it flies out of the fence, going to the care home, bye, tell us where we won. And he said, I think it was about 5 or 6, he'd said, why have we playing off the whites? And we're like, well, that's just what you did in here.
It just becomes natural.
So the story would be, you go back to looking at that scorecard and you play off it, and you have a less than perfect day, and you think, I'm 14 or 15 shots worse. So that's a huge thing. Huge. But I don't think, I think every amateur's got the exact same issue. Exact same. You play off the yellow tees with your mates, with no pressure on you. You are
regardless of your handicap.
You're going to play. You're going to play great. You're going to play great. You play after white keys.
Guys are off 24, but 18, whatever. You play much better than your handicap because, as you say, there's no pressure.
No.
You just go out and hit it. There was one, I think, whether it's a real story or it's an urban myth. Obviously, this was years ago when Tiger was at his pomp, and they were talking about was it Lake Nona? They played that tournament.
They did. But Putler and that used to play it.
Yeah, but Tiger had a handicap. Right, and the commentators were talking about this, saying, yeah, so everybody.
Plus 10.
No, it was worse than that. It was actually worse than that. They were talking about, everybody's got a handicap here. Yeah, Mark Amira's +7. You're thinking, whoa, that's a handicap. Yeah, so Tiger's got a handicap as well. What is it? It's +14.
I mean, Jesus.
+14. So he tees up on the first tee, and he's thinking, I've got to get
14 over.
Yeah, 14 over before I even hit my farm. You'd be like, you know what? I'm in the buffer zone. I'll just walk in.
I reckon with 14 shots, Tiger would still spank you.
He probably would.
He'd still spank you. Because imagine them playing our courses. If they're knocking the ball, fair enough, it's better weather and there's 10-15% further distance because of the hotter air, it's thinner air, it's nose dense. But I reckon if you took
and you've got a new Pro V1 and you've got one that's got a few.
If they brought up, if you take the Euro course on a decent day off our normal white tees at less than 7,000 yards, I think they would break 60 every time.
But you look at most of the courses that we all play on, and let's be honest, most of our courses are probably between 5,000 and 6,000 yards.
I 6,500 yards.
And if you play a course that's over 6,000 yards, you're like, that was a monster.
Aye.
You know, and that's. So how far do these boys hit?
I wonder how people feel about that. Like normal people who wouldn't normally speak about, like who their target audience is normal golfers. How do you feel when you turn up? Like we spoke last week about Rockcliffe Hall, about after gold tees. It was officially the longest course in Europe. How do you imagine getting made to play that on a medal and you're a 20 handicap or you're a 12 handicap or you're a scratch golfer and you're thinking normally I shoot 4 or 5 over. Oh, man, is that going to ruin your weekend? That'll ruin my week.
I know.
Not ruin your weekend.
But they were obviously the Masters, the chairman, he's obviously had he has his sort of press conference before the thing, and he's talking about live golf and stuff like this. But he was talking about obviously how they've lengthened the course as well, and they're obviously quite lucky because they've
buying real estate. Don't they?
They just expand where they want to. But he said it's not far away from Augusta being an 8,000 yard course.
I mean, that is.
Now, I remember not that long ago in our lifetime, if you played a tournament, if you saw them guys playing a tournament and it was over 7,000 yards, you thought, whoa, that's a long.
I could never play that.
So now
that's what you're thinking.
So now they're talking about almost 8,000 yards because they have to, because
I think that wastes golf.
The course.
I think that wastes golf. Because if you look at the 12th, it's only 8 yards wide. You've got an iron, a 7 iron, a 9 iron wedge, whatever you hit onto that, and it causes havoc. Yeah. And you look at all the smaller parts.
It's probably the best hole in that whole course. Because
so why do course designers know then just decide, rather than obviously the guys want to go back to shape it, but we spoke about technology doesn't allow them to shape the ball as much, but you see these guys still hitting big swinging hooks and amazing fades. But for us normal people, when you go and play a golf course and you think that layout was tremendous, what a great day I've had. You might not score the best, but what a great day I've had, that course was great. But when you stand at that back tee and you have to launch it 540 yards, you're thinking, I'm a driver, I'm a 3-wood, and I might be a rescue. And if the wind blows in your face, you're just thinking, I'm going to game. I'm just going to game. And then where's the enjoyment in that? You know, for an ordinary guy, because you want to come off the course and think, I had a couple of good shots here. Well, that was a really good par I had on 14. I had a wee birdie on 6. You know, and you want to actually be able to, at the end of the round, have some highlights. Do you remember, what's the hardest hole you've played? And you as well, if you think about it. The hardest hole, is it because of distance or is it because of shape? Distance. I think it's always distance. Yeah. Always.
I always find that, like, see in a 6 iron and a par 3, that's when I'm always struggling.
Do you know what? And it's all 3 iron. Do you know what? I agree. Jesus, a second. Yeah. I agree with you a lot there, because I tell you what, see, people have this expectation that when you see you as a low handicapper, you go to par 3s and you just knock it to 10 feet. Par 3s is when I lose my shots, believe it or not. Par 4s and par 5s, give me a par 5 all day long, because if it's no the longest, I can nearly get to most of them. The par 5s at Mar Hall, I can't get to. I have hit the first and 2, but it's up high. It's really tough. The 15th, definitely can get them too. But you look at some of the big par 5s and you're thinking, right, I'm all right. But you look at some of the longer par 3s, the second at Marhall, some other golf courses, obviously, you look at the par 3s and you're thinking, I'm hitting a 3-iron here. Yeah. What chances an amateur got to hitting a 25 feet wide green every single time?
And it is par 3s you was going to lose most of your shots, because you say in a par 5, you know, you hit a decent...
You can grit your teeth and
you can
lace
hit a
it.
half-decent drive. Let's say you hit a decent half-decent drive, 240 yards. You can pick it a 5-iron, hit that. Let's say 170. That's you over 400 yards with 2 shots. So you're going to be hitting like a wedge or something into a green. So it's not a big ask. Par 4, if you've got a 5-iron or lower than that on a par 4, that's rare. In amateur golf, that is very rare. Most times you're hitting sort of lower iron 7s, 8s, 9s, wedges.
That's when you buy a second-hand set. The 4 and the 5-iron are split you.
They're nice and shiny because they've never been used. But your par 3s, that is it, because the demand on you, there's less, margin for error.
What's the first par 3 Airdrie? Is it fourth, fifth?
Fourth.
That's a cracking wee hole there, top of the trees, isn't it?
And it's between the trees and it's down in
the greens like this.
Yeah,
that's quite hard to hit.
It is, but it's a flick with a gap wedge. It's not a big, but a lot of people walk off that with a 4 and sometimes a 5.
And then the opposite, because we spoke about the 18s, the Airdrie last week, didn't we?
Yeah, I know, which is like the complete opposite. But then there's also...
What would you hit to that?
I've hit as much as a 3-wood.
That's what
I've hit a 3/4 3-wood, and that's a hard shot to hit.
You can't control that.
No.
That's hard. Well, I can't. I would be hitting a big...
Well, 3/4 3-wood, I tend to block it out to the right.
The car park on the main road would have been serious.
Well, the car park's in bother. I usually between the bunker and the car park.
I park at the other side of the car park purely because of that.
What, at the school?
I park out the street and walk in.
But that's a hard shot to control. That's a 3/4 3-wood, and if I land to the right hand side of the bunker, I'll think, well, I maybe chip and putt here, maybe chip and 2-putt actually, but I'm quite happy.
Short game, isn't
I'm quite happy with that. So
how are you finding it?
It's good, although I haven't played this year, I have to be honest. And
it's rained for October.
That's going to say it's rained for 40 days and 40 nights. It's been biblical. And you said a picture the other day. Roddy had been on, one of the guys on the course, and it just looks as though it's struggling. It really does. And I think there's a lot of courses. We can have a laugh, and we'll be a bit controversial. We'll talk about football and obviously the problems Dundee are having. With obviously their pitch.
Are we going to go there?
We're not going to go. No, we're not going to go there. Right,
I gave you my views on it. I don't think Rangers should be awarded the points, but I definitely think that I definitely don't.
I agree with you.
But of course you do. But I think that Dundee, no disrespect to Dundee, and I'm not being, it's just my own opinion, I'm not being controversial. Something has to happen in a professional football league. Someone's in 5 games called off at home, and then when you've seen the pictures that, I think it was for the Motherwell game when there was snow, they had the full pitch covered, and then for the Rangers game they had the half of the pitch covered that was really bad.
Just the half the Rangers were playing on.
And then you looked at the other half of the pitch, thinking that's still no great either.
Yeah.
And at this day and age, when they're thinking about, I'm right in saying they're thinking about taking away the artificial pitches for Livingston and Kilmarnock.
I think next year Kilmarnock are definitely taking that away. I think. Yeah.
The only other option looks like the Dundee is to have artificial grass, and they're thinking Scottish football is an absolute joke to Sky Sports and the other viewing countries in the world. It is because we play on artificial surfaces anyway. But to play on that, it looks as if you're watching Graham Souness when he played for Tottenham, never mind when he played for Liverpool, and it's there's no grass, it's just mud.
Yeah.
You're thinking, what in the name?
But there's a lot of courses have taken a pounding this year, and a lot of courses are really struggling.
But look at Celtic Park and look at Ibrox and look at Motherwell.
Oh no, we'll be back on the golf again. I know you're digressed onto football, no, but back on the golf.
Their parks are the hybrid.
Aye.
So they've got artificial and the grass.
And that's the difference. You look at Murrayfield.
They're spending money on it, whereas Dundee have paid off ground staff, etc. So
have they?
Aye, that's the.
I think sacked is probably the word.
And obviously, if you look at Dundee United's park, it looks
split.
Fine. So I don't think it is the weather, to be honest.
But the weather has had a massive impact on golf courses this year, because a lot of courses are nowhere near.
Well, that picture I sent you was working. It looked as if I don't think that was deliberate. I think that was the weather getting the best of the gamekeepers, and I won't make a judgment on them. As if they get stuck in it and the wheels have turned. But to be fair, you're talking about the weather putting people off. I don't think there's a golf course that hasn't put back their first medal. Yeah. Purely because of how wet it's been. That's a shame.
And also there's a lot of courses.
You're asking for a discount then?
Yeah, I do for your fees, and you're talking about, obviously, I think Bodwell Castle was the same. They're still playing mats. So if you're playing a competition, you can play, obviously on the course. If you're playing a bounce game,
I hate mats.
You still have to use mats.
I would rather take it. I know they don't. Nobody really wants to do it, but I'd rather take it at the first cut. I hate mats.
I know. But it shows you even
You can spin the life. You feel like a superstar. You can spin the life at the golf ball, can you?
I know.
Look at that.
You know, and you always feel you get a good lie. So you always prop it up. It's always
I
like
hate it.
put the man down. Like, I'll just put
I could do the grip. Even though I shouldn't, I could do the grip because I think it's shorter because
Yeah.
the mark's about an inch. I don't like it. First cut, same as you.
You always feel that way.
Aye, first cut.
But there's courses like Bothwell still playing mats, and they will not be alone. There'll be a lot of courses in South Lanarkshire and North Lanarkshire which
Good
will be
golf
playing.
course, Bothwell.
Yeah, which will be playing, still playing mats or still playing preferred lines for the rest of this month, probably into May as well. You know, at which point do we get a bit of sunshine would be good.
And I think, although our guest phoned in sick this morning, I think it would be really good once we get a few of the general managers to come on to ask them their opinions on that without being too controversial to them. What is the impact? I dare say their inbox must be inundated by the Dudley Do-Rights and the membership who just say, right, okay, I'm going to get my keyboard warrior system now and I'm going to contact everybody and say, well, I'm not paying my membership this month. But what is the real impact? Like, I remember speaking to a general manager when it was really frosty and they delayed it and they didn't allow the greenkeepers to walk on the greens, and we were like, what is the point? So I said, well, why can we not play? The fairways are all thawed out. By the time we get down to the fourth, the greens will be fine. He said that, but the first, second and third, the amount of traffic is on it. Well, so when you walk on a frosted green when the grass is technically still frozen to the roots,
it burns it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it burns it, and it burns the top part of the grass, but then it breaks the roots at the bottom. It becomes nigh impossible to fix. So you're like, I wonder how many. I only know it because I asked a question because I was fed up. And you're like, I wonder how many people actually know that or how many people care.
And when you think, the sun's out now, I was like, okay, we should be able to play. And
the ones that are protected by trees, they're not going to follow.
But if you said to somebody, look, this is the reason, because this is what we'll do, and you won't see the impact just now, but see in a month's time, 2 months' time, you will be complaining about that green because it will be damaged.
I find they're in the unenviable position.
Yeah. Because
they're damned if they do and damned if they don't.
And the problem is we've just all seen the Masters and it looked amazing, and you're thinking green fairways and obviously a wee bit brown obviously on the Sunday because it had dried out dramatically.
It looked amazing, didn't it?
It looked phenomenal. And that's the problem. You watch that golf course on television and you think, I want to go, that's what Bothwell Cashew should look like, that's what Airdrie or Marhol, and you walk up and you're like, oh no, it's not really quite like that, is it?
And what is that, a man?
Yeah,
is this size, isn't it?
What am I doing with that? You know, and I've still got my waterproof trousers on. What do you mean? You know, and I've not got my t-shirt on, and that's the thing is the unrealistic as golfers and as all of us. Do we have unrealistic demands on the golf course?
100% we do. What's your plan for the season? Then? Are you going to be practicing yet?
Yeah, I've already started practicing yet.
Have you?
I've been to the driving range a few times. Playing on Friday.
I don't even want to ask you because I know you've not been doing anything. You've been fitted for some clubs, Mr.
PXG.
Yes,
love them, but I haven't bought them yet.
No,
I can happily.
You've got to
honestly sit here and say I can sit here and honestly say I haven't got a single golf club of my own in my house or my garage right now. I need to.
That's probably true. Yeah,
I know it's 100% true.
Yeah.
And I need to get my finger at. I feel almost as if I'm a liar because I'm on a golf podcast and I'm not playing golf.
And this is you obviously plug in saying
no,
if anybody has a free set of clubs snicking about.
If any manufacturers want to speak to me, then feel free to contact
happily
me.
Sponsor Gary.
Listen, I'll take MD's golf club.
But that's the thing is you know, at which you were talking about, obviously the boy we were talking about last week, and he's going to come on in the next couple of weeks talking about his 90 days back into playing golf.
David
again.
Lee, great guy.
Yeah. I didn't want to say just in case.
No, he'd be happy with that.
David obviously let us know what he's doing, and he's talking about coming back from not playing at his level to back playing obviously.
So he worked in Marhol, and then I believe he'll correct me because he's quite forward. He went to American Golf, and then he is at a driving range now, and he's doing a 90 days back to playing to try and play in the Tartan Tour again. And he was a hell of a player. He played for I'm sure it's NCAA.
Oh, right, okay.
In America, hell of a player. Great player. His 90 days have been. I've watched it religiously on Instagram. It's quite interesting, and you even see him warming up, which obviously we don't.
But that's the great thing. And obviously, trying to transfer onto sort of ordinary golfers, because we all get into the new season. You're like, this enthusiasm. You watch the golf. You think, I'm going out. How do you get back into playing golf? Just picking up a club you haven't actually seen for 6 months.
I had a chat with him, and the general thought process for them is that the first 2 year range sessions, you should only hit 4 or 5 drivers at the end of your session. Obviously, the first bit, there'll be a bit of stretching or whatever before you get there, so you don't look like a tube standing in the middle of driving range, try to touch your toes and probably farting at the same time because the last time you bent over the
toilet. Like Jimenez used to do the first 3.
And then hit a shed load of wedges, and then obviously work yourself up the bag, and then your last couple of shots. He said that's we should be doing 2 or 3 sessions, but then it wasn't David actually, it was some other pro spoke to. They said that when you've done your warm up on the range, you should hit shots like you would hit in your golf course. So think of your first hole. if you hit a drive in your first hole, hit drive. If you hit a 4-iron the next shot, hit a 4-iron. If it's a par 5 like Marho, I would hit a wedge then after that. It'd be a 7 and a wedge probably. Hit those shots, then obviously you can't putt. But then think of your next hole, par 3 at Marho, I'd be hitting a 4-iron, or you'd be hitting a rescue depending on where the weather is. And he said that should take up at least 2 or 3 year sessions as well. And I was like, I have never done that.
No,
I've never done that. And this a few years ago, and I've tried it since, obviously, and you feel as if you played golf, because no disrespect, unless you shoot over 100 golf balls, I won't hit that on a Saturday. I'll hit less than that. So that's how, if you're saying you're going to hit 20 wedges, hit 20 wedges and then play your golf course, and then take away your putts, obviously, so you still got some spare balls lying there. But that'll be something that David will really touch on for us, and that'll be really cool.
I think it'll be a great thing for everybody to sort of look at how to get back into the new season. You know, because you're right. Because what you usually do is you go, driving range, I'm going to get up and hit a few balls. I'm taking a driver. I'm taking my 3-wood because I quite like hitting it. And you'll take some irons. But you'll get within like 10 minutes, you're like, give me a driver, I'm going to hit some drives here. And what damage are you doing to your swing? Because you've not hit a golf ball for maybe. Well,
if you're playing 18 holes, you've got 3 par 3s, so there you're not hitting driver, unless you're Roddy. You're not hitting. Exactly. Sorry, mate. You're not hitting them. You're not hitting driver at the 3 par 3s. There's a couple of par 4s that you hit a 3-wood at. Yeah. So you're probably hitting a dozen drivers. But then, depending on how far you hit it, you're maybe hitting 15 drivers. So hit 20 drivers at the driving range. And then spend the rest of the time where you're losing your shots.
But the thing is, you'll take 100 balls, you'll probably...
How many amateurs actually think about that? If I hit 10 wedges, so I really need to practice on wedges, because there I could score there. Or I'm hitting 10 7-irons, I better hit 37 irons at the driving range, because I know if I get better on my 7-iron, I'll score better. And I think that's where Oi is. I think we lack on that.
And that's the thing. Maybe he'll teach us the fact that what you're saying is absolutely right. Saying, right, and that's the club I hit most. We talked about putting, the other week there, and we're saying that people will not invest in a putter or invest. You're saying they won't invest their time in putting, and they don't, but it's the thing you use the most.
That's my warm up.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But the daft thing is,
it's the
one thing you're going to use more than anything else in your golf bag. The chances if you 2-putt every green, you've used it 36 times.
I will also say I definitely practice putting.
But you're not hitting your driver 36 times.
No,
well, Roddy might, but that's But that's what I'm saying. But
if I could hit it the way you had it, I'd hit it 36 times. I've never seen any control like that. Never.
Yeah. Another thing you don't practice is bunker shots.
Never. I never practice bunker shots.
But how often in the bunker?
And then I'll just sound like an absolute tube.
No, you are.
A couple of times.
No, you're not. You are an absolute tube.
A couple of times, but I again, because this is strange, but I don't practice it enough. But I don't think I hit a lot of bunker shots. But I'm half decent at a bunker, because I've got the confidence, and I've looked at where it sits, and over the years, when I was a high handicapper and working my way down, you did hit loads of bunker shots and thinking, that's just muscle memory, it's going to stay there. But that's a great point. There is, why even no practice bunkers? I do practice putting, and it might be as part of my warm up, because I'm just hitting it, chilling out, talking to my pals.
How many times you also go to a putting green and it says, do not chip onto the green?
Aye. And you do it. Yeah. And you get shouted at.
You get shouted at, I know. But that's one part of your game that if you miss, most amateurs will miss the green. So you want to chip and putt.
And is that where TrackMan and studios come into their own then?
Possibly, and we'll find that out obviously at a later date as well. We've got some of the guys coming in from that. So.
And we're going to book in as well.
Yeah.
26th, I think we've got that.
Yeah.
We need to speak to you about that actually.
So, and that's a great thing. So how can TrackMan and obviously technology, how can that help the average guy?
I think it's an absolute winner. I think TrackMan, and not just TrackMan, but we'll find out the bigger benefits of TrackMan. I think TrackMan, Foresight, Quad, I think all of them are essential. I've actually seen guys who are off at 8 all the way up to about 18 who've just got a couple of quid in their pocket, who when they play they've got the mobile TrackMan with them, and the shot details are on their phones, and that's how they play. And I'm like, that's quite impressive. I couldn't have.
But there's apps now you can just download, and obviously it takes the GPS, and you can sit and you can go, right, I've got 119 yards to green. It tells you.
And that'll be interesting to see
who uses it.
What TrackMan view is on that. Is TrackMan data real live data? It is real live data, but how real is it compared to the apps on the phone? Because if you're thinking 18 birdies, that's the biggest golf app in the world. Yeah. When you look at that, there is an upgrade on it that you can look at. It will tell you wind and elevation, which you can't use a medal, obviously, because that's cheating. But that'll be interesting to find. I don't know the difference in that, I'll be honest. I don't know. I definitely think TrackMan and Quad will be more accurate than a phone. But where that benefits and doesn't benefit, that'll be quite interesting.
But because obviously everything's based on triangulation anyway, you know, obviously with
every bit, yeah.
So do you know,
and it'd be good to find out how you understand. I understood through reading what dynamic loft was, but I didn't realise what impact it had on my swing and how it was about delivering the golf club. So I can't wait for that.
But most people have no idea, and to be fair, a lot of them it's just a case of, am I going to hit the ball? You know, so talking about things like, and this is to be
obsessed by distance.
Yeah, but I know we're obsessed with. I'm going to hit a wedge, be 160 yards to green. But I'm going to hit a wedge. Why? Because you're never going to be anywhere near there.
I would never do that.
Yeah, but a lot of golfers do it, and I'm not saying I've been guilty for that.
You had the ball far. I don't.
But I've been really guilty for that. Where you think to yourself, I've got to hit a wedge. But Mark, why don't you just take an easy 9?
My favourite club in my bag's my 52.
Yeah, and you've got much more control. So like, I hit an easy 9, and
that's what I do.
Yeah. But like a lot of golfers, you think, what's my full out shot here? Mm-hmm. That's it. You always think, I was 120 yards, right? I'm going to hit a wedge because that's what I think I can hit a wedge.
I have in my head, if I swing past 10 o'clock in my backswing, if I get to 10 o'clock, my swing ends.
But that's age.
I used to think
that's age in a bad bag.
I'm alright now. Actually, I was a bit of fatness, or when my shoulder met with my chin, I thought, I can't. If I go, because you can hear it, and hopefully Dave will talk about that. Because if you make a swing and you keep speaking, as soon as you get to the top end, you hear how the voice changes. That's your diaphragm pushing up against your lungs, obviously, because you've turned as much as you possibly can. So I get to 10 o'clock because then as you start your downswing, the transition is if you get to 10 and you start your downswing, you'll move anyway.
Yeah.
So you move a wee bit further. So I've always thought, if I'm hitting an 8 iron and it's say 145, and that's a full 8 iron, unless you've got a better lofted club, like I'm 2 degrees stronger just now. But if I'm hitting a normal bladed 8 iron, it's 145 maybe. And a comfortable swing, no a full swing. I'll also hit that all the way down to 137 rather than forcing a 9. I'll push that 8 iron in there so I can control it, and I'll maybe go down a quarter inch on the grip, and I'll just go to 10 o'clock and I'll just float that in there. And I think that's the difference. Again, no disrespect to anybody. I think that's the difference between scoring and having a low handicap and no scoring and having a mid or a high handicap, because you said exactly what it is. They'll hit a 9 iron and pace the life at it, and if it's a number 4 title, if they hit it that hard, it's got to be number 3 because I've absolutely hammered it, and then they wonder why they hit in the middle of the golf ball and it goes 200 yards
and they've lost it,
and it's lost. And then they wonder why when they look at the scorecard and they go, that was a 6, that's easy a 4, and you're thinking, like we spoke about in the scorecard, if you put your actual score, your fairways found, your greens found, and how many putts you used, I mean, if anybody who's desperate to improve did that every single golf round, you would take shots off your score every single time.
And you're 100% right. And you watch, and that's the thing, if you watch the pros, and it's probably one of the biggest lessons we can take from them as well, because there's not an awful lot you can take from, because these guys play a different game than everybody else.
Different game.
But you watch their approach shots. How many of them play a full shot? None of them. Because it's about control. It's all about getting.
The only time you'll see them lashing at a shot is if they're going for a par 5 and 2 and they have to clear an obstacle or they're in trouble.
Yeah, but it's so rare. Irons, Scottish Shepherd, you never see him full out, except on the drive, and even he's probably not full out. Second shots, everything's 3/4, everything.
Oberg's a good example of that. He doesn't look some at a speed, but it just looks what's the butter? It's so smooth.
It just looks like he's just taking a practice swing, you think.
And you look at all the guys who are amazing at a short game. Seve, totally controlled. Ollie, totally controlled. Luke Donald, unbelievably controlled when he was world number 1, shortest hitter. But my God, his putting and his wedge play and his bunker play were incredible.
And that's the difference. It's and it goes back to what I think this mentality we all have as a golfer, that you worry about distance, and you think,
I wonder if you even think about control.
Yeah.
Or they're that focused on distance,
because it's like, how far am I from the green? Oh, you're 140 yards. You're like, okay, I could maybe I could belt a 9 iron 140 yards,
and it's windy.
And I know, no, you couldn't. Tell you what, hit an easy 8, or even better, take a 3/4 7. Hit it a bit lower, get it in, and what a difference it would make.
Great point.
But the problem is we're obsessed with thinking, how far can I... What people ask you, how far do you hit the ball? What's your longest drive? No, what's your best drive? What's your longest drive? How far... I've got guys come to me saying, I hit that one 300 yards. Aye, good. Where was it? Oh, it was over there.
It was my first shot, my third one. It's all right.
So what happened to your first 2? Oh, that one out of bounds, that one in the bushes. So
that's a huge thing.
So what difference? So you've hit your third one 300 yards.
I think manufacturers are to blame for that a wee bit.
Yeah. Because when we're obsessed with this ball can go 10 yards further, 15 yards further, this golf ball will do such and such. No, I want a golf ball that when I hit it, it goes where I hit it.
I mean, I'm not saying I don't like to hit the ball
300 yards.
I'm not saying I don't like it, because I would love to be able to do it every single time. But I genuinely mean it. I genuinely think I'm going to hit the ball hard. Not as hard as I can hit it, but I'm going to hit it as hard as I can to keep it within control, if that makes sense. I would rather hit a fairway or a first cut than have any worry about going into the second cut.
But that's the thing. We watch these guys on television, and they play a game that we are not familiar with. You know, and it's not real. These guys are. You're saying they're phenoms. I remember a few years back. A phenom.
Phenoms.
Yeah, I got that from WWF actually. Talking about the Undertaker. You know, so but they were talking. He was.
Can he golf?
He was some. I'm sure he probably actually can golf. He's phenomenal as well. But I think it was during the Commonwealth Games, and they had Andy Murray set up as an AI thing, and he was his serve. And this wasn't even his first serve. This was his second serve. Now Andy Murray was renowned for having a really poor second serve. And what it was, they would actually serve it towards you, and you to return the ball. It was over at Merchant City in Glasgow. See the amount of times the ball went past people, and like, right, when you go,
aye.
What do you mean it's past you? And like, no, 85 miles an hour, and that's him dollying it in.
Aye.
And you've got guys, Crazy Serena Williams hitting their serves at 130 miles an hour. What chance have you got?
I can see that.
So these people do not play sport on the same level as we do. Golfers do not play golf on Scottish Sheffield plays a game that most professional golfers are not familiar with, never mind you and I. You know, he's hitting. You know,
they forget didn't make the cut. Must look at Scottish Sheffield's game and go, in that weather. Yeah. After the Friday night and the Saturday morning, go, how's he still playing?
Yeah, I think, were we playing the same course?
Uh-huh.
You know, what did you play Augusta this week, or were you playing the one down the road? You know, that's the scary thing, because not only is it within golfers, professional golfers, are they playing a game that we do not understand. There's golfers within golfers who are playing a game of golf that...
The top 30 out of the top 100 in the world must be in a different plane than the other.
Yeah, they're a different planet.
Must be.
You know, and when people like go back to Rory, when Rory plays at his best, he's on a different level to probably the top 5 golfers in the world, and there are very few who can compete with him. Scheffler's probably one. Beyond that, John Ram maybe. Victor Hovland, the tail end of last year, where he would just everything he did was
I genuinely don't think John Ram will do anything until he goes back to 72 holes and is competing against better players.
Yeah, but you look at what these guys do. It's just not normal. You know,
right, so I will do my damnedest to get the person to turn up for our next podcast rather than phone in sick to us. I'm aware of that time clock up there, big guy.
As once again,
we are running over once again.
Once again, got through.
Maybe you start booking 2.5 hours.
I know. People with that. Do you know these guys can talk solidly for 2.5 hours? 2.5 hours of just
like
nonsense.
Everybody else who's hopefully listening, and yourself, obviously, we just love golf.
Yeah. I mean,
love it.
And I think that's what people like playing golf. If you play golf, you love golf.
Yeah.
Because who's going to get up on a Saturday morning at 6:30 in the morning, and it's freezing and it's windy and it's
my
wet.
wife was questioning my sanity. I don't know how many times.
I mean,
and there's a point. The people who are watching it hopefully watching it on YouTube and elsewhere, stick a couple of suggestions. Ask them to pick topics for us that we can talk about, because we will be able to talk to an hour about it.
Yeah, we could talk about anything.
I think that's.
In fact, pick 2 or 3, we can actually get out with a whole season.
If we pick more than 5, we're never getting through an hour.
No, never. In fact, 5 hours, maybe one for each. Look, Gary, once again, pleasure. Thanks very much.
Absolutely super, mate. Love it.
And,
thanks so much.
Thank you. Okay, take care.
Can you get your face on it, because you ask so many questions? It's great.
I know.
Can you get your face on this?
No, not happening.
Nah, fair enough.
With his
look at his face.
His Kansas Chiefs.
He's got a face that would scare flies for a bucket of.
Okay, speak to you soon.
Take care.
Bye bye.